all getting together, very, very, oh, and it was all held in the organic gardening centre, a wonderful, wonderful facility there between Rugby and Coventry. Very exciting meetings. So there's a lot of excitement happening here. Oh, incidentally, this was the analysis in Capaneri, which was the first city in Italy to introduce zero waste. And I asked them, I said, please analyze the residual fraction, which they did. And here's the analysis of the top 10 items. And this analysis is the analysis of the 17% residuals left after 83% diversion from 1/4 of the town. The top item is textiles and leather. Feedback mechanism, they now have a separate collection for textiles and leather because they think there's some local uses for that. Pannolini, feedback mechanism, make your reusable pannolini. There's a local company that's increased about 800% in the last few months making these things. And kitchen waste, feedback mechanism, obviously some people are not educated enough, they're putting the kitchen waste in the residual container instead of the organic container. This is the company, one of the companies in Sicily, Belice Ambiente, and they are closing down the landfills. They're building recycling centers, a little bit more grandiose than the ones on this island. And they completed a composting plant, and they say they're constructing a separation and research center in construction. I think the construction is in their minds at the moment, but hopefully it will become a reality. And they are integrating this with professors from the University of Milan, University of Palermo, the local activists, zero waste activists, and a major national organization, environmental. Now, the key message I have for you tonight is working together. We need waste companies to see their future in recovering resources, to shift from landfills and incinerators into reuse, repair, recycling, and composting. Make as much money as you want recovering materials, but you're not going to make, if in my world, you wouldn't make a penny out of waste. So the community has to look after the landfill, the residual landfill. We shouldn't be making profit out of waste, otherwise we'll keep making it. So we want to integrate, as in this case, I mean, this waste company is working with the local politicians and with the local activists to get the solution that everybody wants. They've got no interest in developing landfills and incinerators, which is very exciting. The other thing is, to politicians, local, statewide, national, don't treat the citizens as the enemy. The citizens are your best resource in solving this problem. We no need to be on opposite sides. We're on the same side if what we agree on is we want the best for the island, and we want the island to move towards sustainability, and we want the best waste practices or resource practices practiced on the island working together. I think the huge mistake in this whole business, looking back over 25 years, is that when you have a major problem like this, the governments tend to go to consultants. And I've already mentioned that. The consultants usually are engineering companies, and therefore you get technological solutions. And I know I have that problem because often after I've given a presentation like this, a politician, a municipal leader, not meant in any derogatory sense, will come up to me and say, if you don't want incineration, what technology do you want? And then we get this run around with pyrolysis, gasification, you name it, all these resource destruction facilities. They've clearly missed the point. And I have to remind them, it's not a technological problem. It's a problem of organization, education, industrial design, and I would throw in good leadership. And by good leadership, I mean politicians prepared to work with the citizens. So at the end of this day, a presentation, I would say the big thing that you want to do is to set up a task force between your municipal leaders and your citizen activists, and together thrash out the best solution that you can. Say goodbye to the incinerator and start afresh. Believe me, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 million pounds that you may have spent so far, which you then people are worried about, oh, we've wasted that money. That waste is minuscule compared to the 250 million pounds. Now, there is another problem. When I outline this presentation, and you go from the political mindset that we've got a solution, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it's one big black box. We build it over here and all our problems are over. That's the mindset. They've forgotten the ash issue, and they've forgotten the political problems of trying to build it, but be that as it may, it's been made easy for them. And then I come along and say, what you've got to do is source separation, door-to-door collection, composting, recycling, reuse, repair, deconstruction, waste reduction initiatives, pay-by-bag system, residual screening and research center, and better industrial design. It sounds like a lot of work. And so there are consultants in the United States who are marketing the concept of a resource recovery park. This park would require source-separated material, a stream of recyclables, a stream of construction demolition debris, perhaps a stream of organics. And you would have a materials recovery facility. You would have a facility for hard-to-recycle materials like fluorescent bulbs and things like that. You'd have a reuse and repair center. You have a composting facility, and you need a bit of space for that. You need a space for construction and demolition debris, and that's a lot of it. That stuff is very heavy, and it can be fairly easily recycled. I mean, I visited landfills where 95% of the construction demolition debris is being recycled. And what you really need is a big jackhammer which are capable of smashing concrete, separating the concrete from the iron bars, and then breaking down the bits of concrete into smaller and smaller pieces. And then when you've done that, there's plenty of uses for that material. But meanwhile, it's filling up landfills when it shouldn't. Residual screening and research center at the end. So whether or not you build this in front of the landfill or at a separate location, that's a bridge you have to cross. You need a special place for household hazardous waste collection. On the Nova Scotia tape, you will see a very interesting operation where people, once a week on a Saturday, they can drive into a location. They don't even have to get out of their car. Paid workers come, open the trunk, pull out the paint and the batteries and everything else, get them into the right places, and off you drive. Very simple, no hanging around, and very convenient. And as I say, this is being marketed by a guy called Eric Lombardi, EcoCycle. He knows what he's doing. He's been in this business for many years. He runs a very, very successful recycling operation in Boulder, Colorado, and he's pretty confident that all of this can be put together. And that's what we need. We need the consulting firms to put all these pieces together. So again, we offer the one-stop shopping to the decision makers. Dan Knapp has not only done this wonderful work with urban ore, but he, with architects, is designing these resource recovery parks, and they look pretty nice on the drawing board. And this one is being built right now in Sicily, near Catania, and it has all the components in there that we want. And step number 9, of course, is industrial responsibility. What do we want from industry? We want design for sustainability from the very word go. We want clean production, stop using lead, cadmium, mercury, etc. And we need extended producer responsibility, EPR, which means if you make a product or a package in the future, expect to get it back. That's to you, the manufacturer. That's already happening with electronic waste. Laws are coming in. Here's an example. The Ontario beer industry has been using refillable glass bottles for 50 years. They're recovering 98%. Each bottle is reused 18 times. It saves the company money, and there's 2,000 jobs in collection and cleaning of these bottles, and it's absolutely no cost to the municipality at all. That is a zero waste operation.